The global dollar standard could have lasted like another 20 or 30 years, but our politicians take it as our birthright, that we dominate the world monetary system and we can print our currency unlimited. The deficit spending exploded under, it was George Bush actually where it first started. Obama has done what George Bush did times, many, many times. And we just keep on doing more and more reckless deficit spending and print the currency to cover it, basically. The debt in the currency creation spells out the end for this current world monetary system, and history will repeat, and there will be, the classical gold standard fell apart during World War I, and in 1922 there was an emergency meeting in Genoa, Switzerland, of a bunch of finance ministers and economists to try and come up with a new world monetary system. They came up with the intra-war gold exchange standard. Then that started to fall apart during the Great Depression, and in 1944 there was an emergency meeting at Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, and a bunch of economists and finance ministers came up with the Bretton Woods system. In 1971 there was the Smithsonian Agreement, which wasn't even necessary because the Bretton Woods system flooded the entire world with US dollars, and by default the dollar just became a world reserve currency. And but it is the most poorly designed of all the systems. It didn't have any stress cracks until Saddam Hussein tried selling gold for oil. And then there was one more golden nail in the dollar's coffin that happens, and now they're happening every week. A couple of months ago, Russia opened a trading exchange for yuan. So now they can buy yuan futures, so a Russian can create an order that's denominated in yuan and hedge it and know that when he pays for that order that it's going to cost him exactly what whenever he locked in that futures contract. So they can now do trade directly and skip converting to US dollars, which is what they would have done before. Every country on the planet, when they wanted to transfer currency from one country to another, they would convert to US dollars, transfer that, then convert that into the local currency. China has been they've been getting their currency on exchanges all over the world, making it a very easy currency to do direct settlement in. And I mean, every single week there's a new nail in this coffin. People don't realize how fast this is falling apart. And I've said that before the end of this decade, the world will have a new monetary system. If you couple that chaos of switching monetary systems with a crash in stocks, real estate, and bonds, you're in for something pretty dramatic. And Jim Rickards believes that they'll try SDRs. He thinks that we might go on to the SDR, which is just a fiat currency that the IMF and the World Bank use, and central banks use it, but the public doesn't use it. So he thinks that we will start using that for the public. I think that that won't happen simply because it takes the autonomy away from all of the countries to wage war on one another. To wage war on another country, you have to outspend your opponent to win that war. And the way that you do that is by inflating your currency supply, which transfers the purchasing power. As you dilute the currency supply, you're stealing the purchasing power from your population and transferring it to the government without the population knowing it. You're going to eventually inflate prices and their currency won't be anything. You took the purchasing power and spent it on war. Well, if we're all using SDRs and each country can't print their own currency, they can no longer do that. We'd be sharing a one world currency. So that's one reason. The other reason is because people may not trust fiat currencies anymore. And if that happens, all these economists and central bankers at this emergency meeting that's out there in the future for us, it's just history repeating, there's going to be another one of these meetings, and they're going to say, well, what worked before? What worked before was gold. I just hope it's not a gold standard. I hope it's gold. There's a big difference in a national fiat currency, a national currency that's supposed to be redeemable in gold, that's a gold standard, versus using gold, and there's no reason they can't use gold. You can transfer nanograms of gold
What if they put gold
ownership.
within SDRs, along with the yuan?
If it was backed by gold, that would be fine. If it was fully backed by gold and they couldn't print any more than the actual gold that they have in the vault to back them. Except it gives somebody control over it, and it allows, this is the problem with all gold standards, it's a foot in the door to start the scam all over again, because they can always print more claim checks than gold that exists. If they're able to print a receipt, they can, so anyway. It would be an impossibility that this is a coincidence. The only reason the stock market is up is because of this gift to Wall Street that Ben Bernanke created. The coming charts here, they should scare the hell out of anybody that is not a precious metals investor. We are in the Bernanke bubble, and it's going to be followed by the Bernanke bust, and Janet Yellen is left to do the cleanup work after this bust is over.